God of War 2018 introduced the Leviathan Axe, which is one of the best weapons in the series, and it also reintroduced the Blades of Chaos, which was a great callback to the previous games, and it was also a hyped up moment for all of us as players. And all of this was consistent with the quality of the weapons in gameplay. So, what new weapons could we get in the next game, God of War Ragnarok? Let's start off with Freyr's sword. Freyr's sword's name is Summerbrander. Do forgive me if I mispronounce. Now, this is an extremely special and powerful weapon. It is a sword which actually has the ability to fight on its own. So now we know a bit of information about Freyr's sword. So how would Kratos get the weapon in the next game if he does end up getting it? This is where the situation of Kratos versus Freyr comes in. We do know that Freyr is Freyr's brother, and since Freyr is out for revenge, we might see her brother join as well and be present to support her throughout. But if this doesn't happen, there is another reason why we might be seeing Freyr appear in the next game. In Norse mythology, Freyr gets killed during the events of Ragnarok by Surtur, and the amount of importance Surtur has in the events of Ragnarok is pretty big, and I have made several videos on Surtur and his role in the next game. So these are two situations where we could be seeing Freyr appear in the next game and perhaps even see him fighting Kratos as well. So if Freyr does appear and fight Kratos, we probably can expect Kratos to get control of his sword Summerbrander and use it as his own weapon. The implementation of Freyr's sword would be really cool for gameplay, and since this weapon can fight on its own, it would be interesting to see how the gameplay might be executed with this sword. The second weapon in the list is Gongnir. Gongnir is Odin's weapon, and it is a spear which always hits its target. Since Odin will appear in the next game, we could be seeing Kratos use Odin's spear as his own weapon, perhaps after defeating him or even before by acquiring it somehow. The third weapon in the list is Heimdall's horn. The horn of Heimdall is called Horn. Do forgive me if I mispronounce, and this horn could be used in a pretty unique way compared to the rest of the weapons. The horn, if Kratos does end up getting it, could be used to stun enemies by the sound which gets created by the horn, and it will be a strong sound, and this can be similar to the way Helios's head was used in God of War 3 to stun enemies by using light. The fourth weapon in the list is Surtur's sword. This sword is the flaming sword wielded by the fire giant Surtur. It still remains in Muspelheim. Surtur's sword is possibly one of the most powerful weapons in God of War, and it is also described by Mimir as a weapon of legend, and it is due to this sword that Surtur will fulfill his destiny of destroying Asgard with a single strike. So all of this goes to show how strong the weapon really is. So how would Kratos get to use the weapon if he does get to use the sword? This is where Odin and Thor come in. As we know, Odin does count Surtur as an enemy, and in this list, Kratos is an obvious threat. And since his son is one of the main antagonists of the next game, we can expect Surtur to team up with Kratos and Atreus against Thor and Odin. And in this way, Surtur might give his own sword to Kratos, or perhaps make a similar version of his sword, then give it to Kratos to use in battle. The fifth weapon is a weapon which is really well known, and it is indeed the Blade of Olympus. In God of War 2018, we had a great moment where we saw Kratos taking up the Blades of Chaos, and this was one of the many exciting moments of the first game. So if the next game does continue the tradition of the first game and have callbacks to previous games not only in the form of characters but even in weapons, then we could get the Blade of Olympus to return as well. So what are the reasons to bring back the blade? There's two possible reasons. The first being that it could be a cool parallel to the first game where we got the Blades of Chaos, and the second reason would be that the Blade of Olympus is the perfect counterpart to powerful weapons such as Thor's hammer or Odin's spear as well, and we have established the powers and abilities of Odin's spear as well. The sixth weapon is Thor's hammer Mjolnir. The hammer was talked about several times in the first game, and we also saw it in the ending of the game as well as the trailer for the next game. So if the God of War tradition of taking enemies' weapons is continued, then we could see Kratos use Thor's hammer as well, and I have made a video on how all of this might happen. Do check it out if you're interested. The seventh weapon in the list features Atreus, and it relates to his bow and arrow. The addition for Atreus would be new arrow types. There were a lot of characters mentioned in God of War 2018, and one of them was a frost giantess named Skadi. Now Skadi was very good in archery, and she was also described by Mimir for having skills that even the gods could not replicate, and we already have Atreus who is extremely powerful and skilled in archery. So if Skadi does make an appearance in the next game, we could expect new arrow types for Atreus, and this would mean Skadi's appearance is important not only in terms of the story but even in gameplay as well. It could also lead to Kratos getting some form of equipment or even a new weapon as well. If you want to find out more about Skadi, I have made a video, do check it out if you're interested. The eighth weapon in the list is Heimdall's sword. Now this weapon is extremely important as well, and it could be ending up in the hands of Kratos, and he obviously has had a history with swords. So this would be a cool addition as well. But in this list, it is the second weapon belonging to Heimdall. So if either of the two weapons make it into the next game, it's anyways a great thing. The ninth weapon in the list is a trident for Kratos or even Atreus to wield and fight with. The trident, like various other weapons in the series, is no stranger to the God of War games. We saw Poseidon using it against Kratos in the boss fight in God of War 3. So this weapon could also be a cool callback to Poseidon. The trident in God of War game mechanics and graphics would be an insane addition, and this would make it even better if the trident had some sort of lightning powers as well. Perhaps this is where Broken Sindri come in. After all, they did create Mjolnir, the hammer of the God of Thunder Thor. So they could upgrade the trident to make it even more strong as well. So that's the end of the list for the God of War Ragnarok weapons prediction. Do let me know what you guys think about the list and whether you would like to add more weapons or any other particular weapon you expect to see in the next game. Do let me know down in the comments. If you like to watch predictions about God of War Ragnarok and things which could be added in the next game, I have made several videos like the boss fight prediction, a gameplay prediction, and even a story prediction as well. So all the links will be down in the description. Do check it out if you're interested. And that's about it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Do leave a like if you've enjoyed. Subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you all in the next one.